Hello and welcome back to another popcorn chat. In this video I'm going to be speaking to you about Triangle of Sadness. Now this is a film that I've heard a lot of buzz about, a lot of people are saying it's some of their favourites that they've caught at a lot of festivals so far, so I was eager to check this one out. So keep watching to hear my thoughts. So this film was directed by Ruben Östlund. Now I've not seen any of his work before, but I definitely really enjoyed this film. It follows a group of rich, sort of narcissistic people who are on a cruise and they just end up in a lot of chaos. I won't go into it because I don't want to say too much, but what unfolds is just pure mayhem and it's an absolute delight to watch. Maybe a little bit nauseating at times, shall I say. But it's definitely a look at sort of class, sort of social hierarchy, politics, general sorts of, morals and views. It really sort of throws it all in this film, and yeah, I don't want to say too much. So this film has quite a large cast. There's some familiar faces I'm sure we all know and love, and there's also some new actors that I personally haven't seen before. And I think with this film, everyone definitely plays their part. There's no sort of minor roles in this film. Whether you saw them as a really minor character earlier on in the film, they become then very prevalent in that third act. So it has a lot to say, and I think the performances from a lot of the cast, and because it shifts from different characters, lots of people play a really good part and, outshine maybe some of the bigger names. So I do like the sort of the even distribution of characterization, story, and just general sort of dialogue of the script itself. I will say, if you have a weak stomach, no pun intended, maybe don't watch this film because there's a lot of messy things happening in this film. In that midsection, it just gets pure madness, and I wasn't prepared for that, so I've given you a little warning there just to sort of watch out for that. But it's, it already plays on top of Ruben's commentary on the class systems and the wealthy versus the poor, and it leans into those like socialist views that are going on as well. So it adds the climax and the chaos in the moment. Do be warned that if you do have a weak stomach, just be prepared for that second act. It was great to see this film in a packed out cinema screen. It really added to the experience, hearing people laugh, cringe, gasp, but all these different things happening on screen. It was great to go and see in the cinema, and I would highly suggest that you go and do the same for this film. There's certain films that I always think are much better to see in the cinema with a crowd, and this is definitely one of them. This film is by no means perfect. I think it has a few pacing issues. It did feel quite long at times, and it is sort of, sectioned up into three, obviously playing on the idea of a triangle. But there were definitely elements that I was like, come on, and I was checking my watch a few times, sort of anticipating something to happen. And don't get me wrong, things do happen that definitely push the narrative along, but I think there's some moments that are just too drawn out. But that's my main negative of the film. So Ruben obviously explores the idea of the sort of the class system and sort of politics and, wealth distribution. And these are nothing new. These aren't, new remarks that, he's just made up. Of course, we've seen these again and again. I guess it just puts them in a very interesting light. Nothing new in terms of, themes and tone, but I think it was done in an engaging way. But like we already knew, we already knew these views anyway. Well, I think a lot of us do. Can't speak for everyone, but I think we all know, we know. Triangle of Sadness was a great watch, and it definitely has to be seen with a crowded cinema. So try and find a screening that's going to be busy, because you want to hear other people's reactions, and just the whole experience is going to be a whole ride. So I'm going to give the film 3.5 stars out of 5. Thank you for watching my review of Triangle of Sadness. Hopefully you guys have seen it too. If you have, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I would love to check those out. And I'll see you very soon for another popcorn chat.